What's up, guys? It's Quinn.
It's Alex.
It's Iconic Comic, and we're back, and we're here to review Star Wars The Last Jedi. Before we get into that real quick, guys, I want to remind you about T-Blocks. It's a really cool geek subscription t-shirt service where you can pick out all the cool kinds of t-shirts you want. We've got a couple of them. We really like them. Good quality, good geek stuff, and you can use our code ICONICTBX, and you're going to save 10% off.
You know, it's really cool, really quick. If you go online, you can actually pick your interests, so you're not going to get the same shirts that somebody else gets. You know, that's like, you know, you see somebody walking like, oh, I've got that shirt. Oh, I've got those socks. Mm-hmm. You know, we all know what that's from. So with T-Blocks, it's different from every other t-shirt because you get to pick whatever, you know, what kind of stuff you like. So I thought that was a really cool feature. So check it out.
Check it out. All right.
Check it out.
So let's get right onto this thing. This is going to be a non-spoiler review, so don't worry. You don't have to go running high. We're not going to give any plot details away. We're just going to give our quick overview about what we liked, didn't like, and our score of the movie. Who wants to go first here?
I'll go first. This was a really good movie. I feel like, though, that most of the Star Wars movies, I can't put my finger on it. I know we talked about it, but I still just can't put my finger on it. Like there's just something that just wasn't there that I wanted to be there. And I'm not saying this to put this movie down because I still really like this movie. It's just I have to see it a few more times. I've only seen it once. You've seen it, what, 2, 3?
Once.
Oh, once. Oh, I thought you've seen it more.
I wanted to see it more than once before we did this. I'm going to see it tonight again. But yeah, I think after seeing it the first time, when we walked out, I already was thinking in my mind, this is going to be a divisive movie. People are either going to really like this movie or hate this movie. And based on right now, I think the Rotten Tomatoes audience score is at about a 57%. Which is about down the middle. Yeah, so 57% of people like this movie. And I could kind of tell going in or coming out that that's what it was going to be like. Because, in my opinion, this is a Star Wars movie that takes a lot of risks and is very, I think, different stylistically than almost every other Star Wars movie, except for a couple things that we'll talk about in the spoiler review. But overall, I thought every time you thought, oh, this is where they're going, they did something else, which was really cool.
Yeah, like because every Star Wars or every pop culture fan, film fan, will sit there, and I know we're guilty of it on camera and podcasts and stuff. Oh, it'd be sweet if this happened. None of it ever happens, like the way we envision it in the movie. So I think that's part of my reason where it's like I just wasn't.
We built it up to this.
I think that's a little bit of a part of it, but you know, I forget about all that when I'm watching the movie.
Because after watching it, there was nothing about the things, the big things that we were theorizing about, the way they actually happen, I wouldn't change.
Exactly, but it's the means to the end. I didn't totally like as much. And it was only like a couple things. I'm not saying the whole movie was dog crap. There was just one kind of facet of this movie. I feel like there were three big plots that we followed, right?
Yeah, and they're basically, and you've seen stuff in the trailers, the whole Finn Rose plot thing, I thought could have been done differently. And that was probably my biggest problem. That's my biggest problem with this whole movie, honestly, is that chunk. And we will get into it in the spoiler section about why. But besides that, there's so much about this movie that I loved.
Yeah,
loved
it. So like there's one scene in my head that I'm not going to say now that just made the movie, like the Vader scene in Rogue One.
Oh yeah.
And if you've seen this movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
So, good things. I mean, we kind of started with like.
I know it's not like I didn't want to crap on the movie because it's not crap.
It's
opinion.
A very, very good start. Right off the bat, I will say I enjoyed it actually better than The Force Awakens.
Yeah,
and I'm a huge fan of The Force Awakens. But like I said, this movie takes risks where I thought The Force Awakens didn't take as many risks. I thought this one did not play it safe. And, you know, I saw this meme going around Facebook where it showed the audience score, 57%, and it was like in quotes it says, "Never mind, we just want more of the same." So it was like all these people complaining that, oh, the first one was just A New Hope. this one better not be like Empire. And in my opinion, it's not a rehash of Empire Strikes Back. And when the audience score came up, it's like, never mind, we just want Empire. Like, we just want it to be the same. And I think this is a movie that over time will gain more fans because they have to, like, you kind of have to look at this movie not with different eyes, but it is a different kind of Star Wars movie, so it's jarring at first.
And like what I said about The Force Awakens, it was a new hope for a new generation. And
love to milk that line.
Because it rings true, in my opinion. Because, before The Force Awakens came out, what was the last Star Wars movie that came out?
Revenge of the Sith.
Year-wise.
Oh, 10 years.
10 years. So 10 years have passed. I don't think, Star Wars lost any fans. They may have lost some just because over time, like, oh, yeah, I liked that when I was a kid,
Mm-hmm.
But, they had to reintroduce the lore.
There has been an awakening.
Exactly.
Have you felt it?
they had to reintroduce the lore. So then you had your diehard Star Wars fans. You got us. You got the sweaties. And then you got this new generation that probably the kids of these people, or, kids that just haven't seen it. So now so Star Wars now is having to play to the middle. Yeah. And I feel like they're almost playing to the middle. But I feel like The Last Jedi went a little bit more towards the sweaties, like the diehards.
Yeah, but at the same time, I thought this movie did a really good job. It focused on our favorites, but by the end of this movie, and this isn't a spoiler, by the end of this movie, you can tell, all right, we're going to be moving into a new generation of heroes soon.
Exactly.
Like, these are not going to be our... Like, we're gonna be growing up now with, the Reys, the Finns, the Poes, those kinds of people, and, our new villains and stuff like that. Those are going to be taking the baton here soon. And I think the old Star Wars fans and us it's like a learning curve we kind of got to go over. It's like, all right, well, we're not going to see these people forever.
It's like you just have to accept it. You have to accept certain things when you watch movies. Most people, that we go to movies with, that crowd, they're not willing to do that.
No.
They're not willing to accept that Rey is the main character in this movie, and it's a girl Jedi, and I don't think people are as open to that.
Yeah, and
not just because she's a girl, but just the idea of it. Well, it's not Luke anymore.
Yeah, and going back, just talking about The Last Jedi, I would say probably my favorite part about the movie is Luke. They did him so well in this movie where you could tell that this was a Luke that is 30 years older than when we last saw him. He has changed, but you still feel in parts of the movie the old Luke.
Yeah, and how he acted made total sense.
I've been seeing people complain online, and like I said, we will delve into it. People complaining online, it's like, that isn't the Luke I grew up with. Good.
Oh, I know. Duh.
If Rian Johnson would have made this movie and Luke would have been the exact same 30 years later, it would have
been weird.
It's like, people change in real life. Like, 30 years from now, we are not going to be the same kinds of people. People progress and change. It
kind of was the typical, like in Hercules when he found the trainer. It's like... I don't want to spoil that.
It's a trope, but we've seen in the trailers, it's like he's reluctant to do it.
Yeah, it's a trope.
Like the Miyagis.
Like the old guy that has been through it all, and, he has a change of heart, and then, just rises up.
But, again, this movie takes turns...
Exactly.
That change it up. So, like, every time someone says, well, that felt a little bit like Empire or Return of the Jedi, I was like, absolutely it did, because they were paying, like, an homage to it, but it did not end the same way it did in those movies.
Right.
And Star Wars is trying to find this good middle ground, where I think it's, they are introducing these new characters, these new worlds, while they still pay homage to the old movies. Because as George Lucas once said, Star Wars is like a poem. It's like lines and stanzas. They repeat each other sometimes. It follows the same themes. It would make sense for certain things to feel like certain things in the other movies. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one, when Phantom Menace came out, complained, oh, well, the Gungans fighting the droids, the Darth Maul and Obi-Wan fight, and the droid ship with Anakin, that was like Return of the Jedi with the 3 battles going on. No one said that, but now people are complaining about it. It's like Star Wars has always followed like a pattern, whatever, but it's what you do at the end of that pattern. And I think this movie does a great job of turning things on its head that you don't expect to happen. And like I said, Luke is one of the best parts about this movie, but overall, there's not really a bad performance in this movie.
No, I don't think so at all. I think most of it's just due to the writing. But the performances themselves, they're fantastic. I love Phasma.
Yeah.
like as far as like side characters, I thought she's always been cool.
Yeah.
You know? Thought her fight with Finn was cool. That was in the trailers. It's not a spoiler.
It's hard to talk about this movie in vague terms.
The music?
Dude.
Music was good.
John Williams kicked the shit out of this score.
I thought the music was really good. I feel like
better than The Force Awakens. I feel like
now every single Star Wars movie that comes out, it's got its own thing now. But it's like what you said. It starts to sound like something, and then it's something different.
And
cool.
John Williams, there's obviously you get the classic music in there every once in a while, like the Force theme, and you heard Leia's theme in there. Then you hear the new stuff with Rey's theme. But then, if you were paying attention in certain scenes in this movie, they even go prequel music in there, and it's you have to really be listening for it because they don't like come out and throw it in your face. But it's those kind of homages that are good, where they're like the meld of all 3 generations of Star Wars, and I think this movie did a good job of doing all of that. We talked about the performances. Specific character-wise, other than Luke, the dynamic between Kylo Ren and Rey in this film was fantastic.
Oh my! I can't talk about it right now.
We can't.
I can't because it's so. It plays to the plot.
It does.
So I can't really talk about it right now. It was really, I thought it was really well thought out, and it was. I don't want to say it was cheesy, but it was almost like oh, okay, I can't talk about it. Damn it. But it was really cool how they did it though, like what. Damn it.
This is the hardest kind of movie to be vague about. Hopefully,
let's just spoil it. Not right now.
No, later. Yeah. Well, hopefully, most of you guys have seen this movie. It's made a ton of money already. But I thought the space battles were awesome in this movie. We didn't really get a space battle in Force Awakens. We got the on Starkiller Base thing, but we never got like an in space. TIE fighters, X-wings. First Order Resistance fight, and we do in this movie, and I thought that stuff looked great visually. I mean, the movie's beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, Snoke.
Ooh, I liked him.
Snoke not only looked fantastic, which was all motion capture from Andy Serkis, he looked great in this movie. So if you were afraid he was going to look goofy based off the hologram, don't be afraid of that, because I thought he looked amazing in this movie.
I thought he'd be bigger. Not just
because of the hologram.
No. Not because of the hologram. Just, I don't know. I just thought he'd be bigger. Not that affected my opinion of him.
Kind of like an emperor kind of feel when you saw him, obviously.
Yeah.
But he definitely shows his power in this movie. We get more Snoke, is what I'll say.
Yeah.
And it's good. All the stuff with Snoke is
cool.
really good. Like I said, honestly, I only have 2 problems with this movie. Only 2. First one was the entire Rey and Rose.
Finn.
Everybody has like the same like first letter. Sorry,
Finn and
Rose. Their side plot. But I will tell you in the spoiler section how I think it could have been done better. And then the second was I just thought there were maybe 2 or 3 jokes that felt out of place. And here's the thing. Every joke in this movie hits. And it's funny, but does it belong?
Yeah, that's the biggest thing because, like with jokes and stuff, because if you if you have a really heavy, like a scene with heavy information, heavy lore explanation, a joke is going to feel really weird. Like, it could be funny, but it's like, wait, I'm trying to focus on this. And, you know, the new generation, they have to pay attention. Because we've seen them. We've seen all the other Star Wars movies, read some of the books, played the games. We know we're more familiar, you know? So the jokes that hit, they hit, but I don't think they were, like what you said.
There's humor in this movie that works perfectly and is in the right places at the right times. And it's when Star Wars humor is best is when it's done through characters, not situations. Like Empire Strikes Back is the darkest Star Wars movie. I mean, this one it's close by darkest, but Empire has tons of funny moments in it. Like, you know, and but, you know, I'll see you in hell. And, you know, Han rides away, stuff like that. Or even in the first Star Wars, you know, boring conversation anyway. He blows up the thing. Star Wars always has humor like that, but it's done through characters. So I thought all the character humor worked very well in this movie. It's when it was like a situational humor where it was like something happened that was like not slapstick. I will not go as far to say slapstick, but something happens to the situation where it kind of pulls you out for just a second, but then you're like, okay, I'm back in. But when a character said something in this movie, I bought it because that character, it was consistent with their characters.
You know what's funny when you say that? Now I'm thinking, like Marvel and Star Wars with their humor. I feel like
it's very similar.
Well, no, I think with Marvel they should be more like, or I should say less humor dialogue, and I feel like they're just kind of flip-flopped. Like Star Wars should tell it through characters, not situations, and Marvel should be reversed with some characters.
Yeah, so like,
I feel like so I'm just thinking about like Thor.
Tony Starks and whatever, they should be funny.
Yeah, the Tony Starks and stuff like that should be witty and comical, but you know, most of them, you know, or the Guardians, they're funny, you know, but it's situational humor that is more entertaining in Marvel, not so much Star Wars because of what's happening. You know, so there's not really something funny going around, you know, the universe, but the characters are still characters.
Yeah, and like, you know, when we went and saw it, pretty much every joke the theater laughed. I just feel like there are some jokes on second viewing that you won't laugh. You know what I mean? Just because it's like, it's there, it happens, it's funny because you see it, and you're like, oh, that's hilarious. But then the second time you watch it, you're like, I could leave it, take it or leave it kind of thing.
Yeah.
But those are really my only two big standout things with this movie, because otherwise I thought it was a very, very simple story.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the simplest stories are the ones that work the best when you focus, you know, on characters, and all the characters in this movie really worked for me. So you want to just go ahead and score this film?
All right, let's score it on 3.
No, because we're gonna say something different. It's gonna sound weird.
All right.
Plus, I gotta put the graphic in. So,
okay.
All right. So after one viewing and only one viewing, see, because with us, the more times we watch things, it can do this.
Yeah.
So after a first initial viewing, I'm giving Star Wars: The Last Jedi an 8.5 out of 10. The 1.5 point away from giving it, I couldn't give this movie a perfect score. It could get up to that 9 after second viewing, but there were just, you know, the couple things in the middle of the movie that I thought could have been done different, and we'll get into that in the spoiler section. But other than that, I loved this movie. I love this movie so much, actually. The more I talk about it, and I feel like our scores might even change when we get into the spoiler section. We've done that before in our reviews where we talk.
Yeah,
we talk through it.
I think I'm going to go ahead. I was going to say a 7, but now that I think about it, I got to have room to move. I'm going to put it at an 8. Just a solid 8, because I really don't like Finn. And it has nothing to do with John Boyega. Nothing at all. It's just the writing of his character I don't think fits him. Or, you know what? I don't think... I'm just going to say it now. John Boyega, I think, shouldn't be the actor for Poe. And it's not... Or... Damn these names. Finn, because I don't think his acting style fits Finn. It's nobody's fault. But with the writing that Finn has, I feel like needs some. But I don't know. I'm not a director. I can't sit here and put my finger. With these Star Wars movies, I just can't put my finger on it. But there's just something that's just not there for me. I still love these movies. Don't get me wrong. I love these movies. I will go every time to watch them, and I'll have to watch this one more times.
A lot more times. So,
but should you have to?
I think. See, here's the thing.
Should you have to watch a movie more than once?
Yes, especially when we're talking about people like us, because I think the whole opening night thing. We go see things on opening night for a lot of reasons. One, it's the anticipation, the build-up. We've been waiting for this for so long. But two is, we don't want to be spoiled. Like,
and you know what I'm
seeing something on opening night, it's hard to digest because you're enamored by kind of the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like when we go see a Marvel movie, we kind of like handicap the score +1 on opening night just because we're enamored by the whole experience of it. Like
exactly.
Like it's opening night. We're the first people to really see this movie. It's big. It's bombastic. So it's hard to take in. In this movie, there's a lot. I said
heavy.
The story is simple, but there's so much to take in character-wise, and just certain small plots that'll be finished in the latter episode that I think. After a second viewing, once you've really digested it, you're going to be like, now I understand why they did that. I feel much better about that.
What I just thought is the first night we see it for us. When we see it a second time, we see it for the channel.
Yeah.
I mean, really, because
the last time we do a review after seeing it one time.
Well, I think we should do that from now on, because the first time it's for us, then the second time we watch it to get a nice, clear viewing of it.
Yeah. All right. So we got 8.5.
I went an 8.
8.
I'm at an 8.
And speaking of seeing it on the first night, make sure you go check us out on the Stardust app. Go follow us at Iconic Comic, and you're going to see our first reactions to movies and TV shows. Our Last Jedi one is up there right now. When we walk right out of the theater, that's the app we go to. So if you like this video, guys, make sure you guys like,
comment,
share,
and subscribe.
So you guys don't miss a single thing from the channel.
Make sure you guys stay tuned.
Stay iconic.
And cue music.
Holy Grail.